What's going on, guys? So I got a crazy story for you. So my stepdad scared the crap out of me today. He calls me up and he's like, hey, I need you to pick up your mom from dialysis because I don't feel good and I'm dizzy and I'm sweating. And I'm like, oh, great. My dad's got COVID. And I'm like, hey, you got COVID. I'm going to have to take you to the hospital so they can test you and get you medication and all that. He's like, no, I think it was just the medicine I took earlier. I'll be all right. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go pick up my mom. So I pick up my mom from dialysis and she's like, hey, where's Sonny? And I'm like, he's at home. He said he was sick. Like, he sounded like crap. Like, I could barely understand him. And so she's like, all right, cool, whatever. So we go home and I park and I get there and I walk into my mom's room and he's sprawled out across the bed and he's not moving. And I'm like, hey, Sonny. And he's not moving at all, like non-responsive. And I'm like, oh, crap. This dude's dead. And then I see that he's breathing. I'm like, oh, okay, he's not dead. He just had a stroke or a heart attack or something. Like, oh no, like, what's going on? So I go and I slap him on the leg. I'm like, hey, what's wrong? What's going on? And he's like, oh, I'm sweaty and I'm dizzy and I can't move and I don't feel good, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, let's go. I'll take you to the ER. Here, I'll help you get in the car. He's like, no, I feel a little better than earlier when I called you. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I got to go back to work, but if you're okay, then just give me a call when you feel better or whatever. Or if you need me to come back, I'll come back. So a couple hours go by and I send him a text. I'm like, hey, are you okay? Doesn't respond. Maybe like an hour and a half later, he sends me a picture of a cigarillo and says, hey, what kind of cigar is this? And I look at it and I'm like, this dude just went and smoked a cigar. He went and smoked a cigarillo that was packed with weed that one of my buddies left at his house. Yo, this dude was freaking high. He was so freaking high that he thought he had freaking COVID. Yo, this dude was so high that he had cotton mouth and had the freaking sweats because he was so freaking high. And then I call him right now. He's like, hey, that shit wasn't peach flavored. And I tell him, that's what you get for trying to sneak around and smoke behind my mom's back.